So welcome back to the channel. In true typical YouTube fashion, go ahead and like, subscribe, whatever bell or button or doodad somewhere on your screen, down here or up there or wherever it's at. Okay. So the original intent of this channel was for transitioning out of the military personnel and being able to take what we've been given and taught in the military and being able to kind of apply that to this new role that we're in. It doesn't matter what verbiage you use it with, but being able to apply it to that new role you're in. And also being able to keep it as relevant to what is actually going on, whether it's like, consider this a video journal, a video blog, I don't even vlog, just trying to keep it as relevant as I can so I can talk from recent experience of what is going on and hopefully being able to make it relatable. Now, the other factor is, like I said, being able to take that military related stuff and apply it and kind of make it, how we are able to do it on the outside, or make it work on the outside. So, in the military, we're given classes and briefings and trainings on like resiliency, right? And then we've just been talking about mindfulness and self-awareness and self-reflection and low energy days. All this kind of really ties somewhat into that. But it's all about being aware of what's going on with us. So, I was a master resiliency trainer in the military. However, if it's not used, it is a perishable skill. When last I knew, there was 14 modules they had to pitch across a 12-month window. And if it's not used, you really do forget it. You don't retain it. You don't apply it. You can't recall it. The biggest ones, was like put it into perspective and hunt the good stuff and icebergs and, just there's so much more that's involved with that. So like for yesterday, for me, something felt off. Couldn't quite figure out what it was. Didn't know what it was. Something was wrong. There is just something not right. Couldn't quite touch it. Still don't know. But what the thing is when that happened, I started chasing down, trying to anyways, in my brain, that why. Why do I feel this way? What is it? Have I not covered everything? Have I, and this is when we were going to go have our little adventure. I'm like, I've got the bag. The truck has gas. We're good. We have everything we need. So what is it? What is it I'm forgetting? What am I missing? And I'm like, just why? And what that started was this intense rumination circle of just constantly going around of why, what is wrong, what is the universe, the cosmos, the higher powers that be, what is it that they're trying to, and it just kept, kind of kept pushing down, kind of like the drain. You just keep going and it gets a little bit lower, and it just was very hard, very just kept searching for that why. And that, that tangible reason, that thing that I could really just put my finger on and say, this is what it was. And then this just went on, and it went on, and still, and when this happens, sometimes you will have a physical reaction. That happens. It's okay. Some people will cry. They'll have a mini breakdown or a outburst of emotions. And, this went on, and last night, I have such a phenomenal, wife. She is just, holy cow, she's thousands of miles away, 13-hour time difference. And when we were able to talk, we talked about it, and I've been given all this knowledge from the military. I've done the readings with the books and online articles and videos and everything else. So I have two sets of knowledge, and they're fitting like this. But one of the things, or like the major thing for me, is she, just being the bestest spousal unit that she is, was able to put it into words that I could understand and actually apply. She said that balance. I have to be able to have that balance, because I do operate in, and have operated in, extremes, especially within the military. Huge extremes in the military, right? And then extremes within the military as well, between a forward deployed environment and a garrison environment, or a field environment versus, just a a PT environment, okay? These major, massive extremes, just mission accomplishment, mission objective, get it done, hyper vigilant, focused accomplishment. On the other side of that, though, when I transitioned out, it's that extreme happiness, that extreme joy. Like, I'm happy because I'm not in the military anymore. I have all this free time. I'm happy. And I was showering and prolific expressions of love and joy and happiness. But on the other side, or love bombing is what some of it, I've seen some of that verbiage online as well, and just the other aspect of that is that's an energy expenditure. That is energy that is going out. And it's not sustainable if you keep putting out in that manner. So when she brought up the balance factor, that took a lot of that stuff and really just kind of took that information and those pieces and did this. And it fit together. If you have those extremes, you have, because and they're true though, and that's the weird thing for me, is like, these were and are legitimate emotions. They are legitimate and valid feelings. But on the other side of that is that balance piece. And having those two major extremes, and this extreme, we don't question. We never stop and say why. You just are there, and it's easy, right? And this is what she really enlightened me on. But when we have those intense opposite reactions, the sadness, the questioning, the negative thought processes, we really heavily ruminate on it, of why do I feel this way? We don't stop the happiness. We're trying to stop the other negative thought processes and break them down, instead of just acknowledging that it's happening and saying, I see you, you are valid, it's okay to be sad, and just observing it and letting it go. We have a tendency to spin round and round and round of it, trying to figure out why, trying to fix it, trying to accomplish a mission, right? And so we talked back and forth, and it was just really bringing it down from the intensity of it, because it was able to be brought into verbs and words that I could understand and actually put this stuff together. Now, when I woke up today, I still had some of that left, that something just was not right. And with what she helped me with, it was able to be applied again. Because the thing with this is this is not, there's no like major epiphany, there's no major fix. It's not that this is it and this is done. It is a everyday process. And also talked with someone that both her and I used to work with, and it's like, hey, look, you were always so balanced as far as not getting worked up over things, and just kind of didn't matter if it was chaotic at work that day or not. He always was just pretty calm about everything. And I'm not saying he didn't have internal stuff, but and I asked him, I said, hey, how did you do this? How were you able to remain so calm? And he started talking about inner peace and everything else. And And I was like, okay, now in the books that I've read, I've not really seen inner peace just yet. I know the one that it was heavily focused on mindfulness and trying to practice that peace and everything else. Now with inner peace, and it, you know, I'm like, okay, they inner peace, mindfulness, and self-awareness really actually all go together. They're all just various tools to be able to use, and it, like I just said, it is a process. There is no, I have attained inner peace, I'm good, and nothing can touch me anymore. It is a daily practice, and sometimes it's maybe an hourly, sometimes it may be you have to apply it every minute. It just really depends on what your situation is, what you're going through, because everybody's situation is different, you know. But some of the steps for, you know, trying to at least start, or even just going through the process of inner peace, you know, is like decluttering your living space. You know, our minds is where we live. We are in our minds every day, all day, even at night. You know, when you're sleeping, you're still in your mind, you know, in dreams. That's intense, you know. You know, but even your rooms, your homes, you walk in a room, if you don't have that good energy level, it's bad. But like with our minds, the noise level in our mind is just at times just so oppressive, and being able to try and stop it, you know, because then it, you know, you're able to break that ruminating process, you're able to encircling drain process, you know. Some of the other steps, you know, is you take responsibility and you accept your own shortcomings, you know. Taking responsibility is huge, you know, and then accepting your shortcomings, you know. In the military, there was a lot of the people that I worked with, as far as the ones that have known me for 20 years, you know, you guys know who you are. You know, they would be, someone would come and ask them, hey, you know, what's this guy like? You know, and they'd be like, he will be the first one to tell on himself. And it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, you know, you have to take responsibility. And then it's going to go into the next piece, and then accepting your shortcomings, though, too. Accepting your shortcomings. If you know it's something that you need to work on, be accepting of it and actually do the work from the true self that you want to have that improvement. Not just, I'm going to do this because somebody else said I had to do it. You actually have to want it, because otherwise it's not a true intent behind it, and that very feigned, masked attempt at it. It's just not going to work. It's not sustainable. It's not going to work. But then moving into our past mistakes and our past issues do not define who we are or who we will be. We all make mistakes, and that's huge. Like, I've made so many mistakes across life in general, you know, and as long as you are willing to learn from them, then it is a teaching experience. It is not something that can be really, I shouldn't say can't be, because anybody can do whatever they need to, but it should not be used or held against you. You know, non-judgment for people who, you know, I made a mistake, I messed up, I did this, it happens, you know, mistakes happen. Being grateful. Being grateful is huge, and that's a big thing. You get these people who walk around, yes, I was that angry senior NCO. You know, oh, he's just always angry. He starts his day with coffee and hate. You know, but I was grateful to wake up every day. I was grateful to not be worried about my family every day. You know, just these things. There's so much to actually be grateful out there for. I mean, now I will watch some of the butterflies, the little pollinators, the bees. It doesn't matter, and I'm just like, it's good to see them. You know, there are places where they don't get to see them. So loving yourself. So this one's hard. All right, none of this is easy. None of this is easy, but this one is really hard. Because we get so stuck in our ways of what has worked in the past. This one gets hard. Owning their mistakes and accepting our shortcomings that's easy for me. loving yourself about everything in general, that's where it becomes hard, because I see those shortcomings, I see those mistakes. I am learning to love myself. Like I said, this isn't a quick fix project, okay? And then, so it is a learning process overall. And don't compare. Don't compare yourself with someone else. If you're going through something, it doesn't matter if it's the same thing. You can't compare yourself to somebody else and the progress that they're making with it, or the progress that they did make with it in that time frame. It's not keeping up with the Joneses. It's just, this is your path and you have to do it. Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. Spend time in nature. That's a huge one, right? Your environment around you is huge. There's a lot of healing energies, calming sounds, soothing sounds within nature itself. Just not everybody's able to get to nature, and that's another thing to be grateful for, though, is if you are able to get to it. And then this one is hard, especially I think for the military, is letting go of things that you don't and can't control. Military, a lot of times we're taught about controlling the situation, right? Either one way or another. Being in control, controlling the battlefield, right? And this is another hard one for me, is letting go of that control. Like yesterday with the trying to figure out the why. I kept trying to control it. I kept trying to figure out why and go from there. And I just wasn't able to do it. And until, my wife was like, hey, it's about balance, especially for you with these massive extremes. And then with the inner peace, though, there's a lot to that as well. I mean, there's so many faucets. This whole thing, life is like a diamond, basically. There's all these little cuts and faucets and various surfaces that just, in order to really have the best life that you can, right? This isn't about living the best life. It's the best life that you can, all right? And letting go of some of those things, right? Letting go of that you can't control, but still being held accountable. It's very, accepting responsibility. I shouldn't say being held accountable, but accepting those responsibilities. Some of the stuff to definitely avoid, if you can, is that self-blame, that excessive self-blame. Yes, we all have a part in something if it falls apart. A project fails, doesn't work out, a mission doesn't quite happen, somebody forgot something for training. If we have a piece of it, that's, accepting our responsibilities, right? And owning our mistakes. Chasing happiness, okay? You can't chase it down. You can't say, if I do this, this is going to make me happy. If I complete this, this is going to make me happy. It may for that little piece, but that's not a long-term solution. If I get that car, I'll be happy. Well, you get the car, and then that new car smell wears off. Or take your pick, right? It's about that true sustainable happiness. That's where this, keeps going. It's a process. That victim mentality too. A lot of, this happened because this. And I have been subject to that myself, and it's hard to stop. It is. But once you finally make that determination of, I am no longer a victim, I will no longer allow myself to have that victim mentality. Yes, this event happened. Like my Article 15s that I had when I was in, okay? Yes, I had them. I got reduced in rank, and it sucked, and I was very spiteful for them. They did this to me. I was making myself the victim. And reality, I was not accepting my responsibility for my mistakes. So, trying to impress people, definitely there's, why do you need to impress people? If you are just yourself, one of the things with this is, that I've seen, is, that it doesn't matter. Just be who you are, and then there's no need to impress people, right? There's really not. Pursuit of perfection. Nothing is perfect out there. It's how you perceive it. Somebody can always find a flaw with anything, but it's how you perceive it. If you're always looking for a flaw, you will find it. But trying to get everything perfect, it's never going to be perfect. Grudges, holding on to grudges, it's not going to work. It's not going to allow you to move forward. It's not going to allow you to let go. That control piece, right? Quest for material things. You know, if you're always trying to have the newest, the shiniest, the brightest, the flashiest, that's not a true sustainable thing. That's that keeping up with the Joneses stuff. And then complete self-reliance. You know, yes, starting this, the bulk of this process is on us. The onus is on us. It is on us to want it, to do it, to go through it. But being able to reach out like I did with my wife, and definitely so appreciative of this guy actually responding, because he didn't have to. He could have just said, I didn't really care for when he was in, and I don't have to respond, I don't have to answer, and he chose to, you know, and I was very appreciative of that, you know. So you know, inner peace and mindfulness and self-awareness, it is a continuous process. And just trying to hit some of these, you know, because I don't want to go into a super in-depth long thing. I think about 20 minutes is probably the mark that I'm always aiming for. I don't want to get too long-winded with it. You know, but having your emotions, it's okay to have emotions. Inner peace isn't about just stopping and turning the stuff off. It's about how we process it and what we're doing with this stimuli as it comes to us. And, you know, sticking with it too. Don't get into that mindset of it's easier for me to just give up and go back to doing what I was doing, because that's not going to be healthy for you in the long run. It's not going to be healthy for whatever relationship you have, whether it's a personal, like an intimate, romantic relationship, a work relationship, a friendship relationship. It's not sustainable. One of the things that when having these negative thoughts, and I just found this today, is when we start having these negative thoughts, is putting that little spin on them. And I think for me personally, this will somewhat help, because I related this to a meme from years ago, and it's funny, but it's not funny, but it's funny. Okay, is when we start having those negative thoughts, is putting a but at the end of it, and that takes it from being this solely negative thought, putting that little conjunction there, and then putting a positive affirmation on the end of it, will change the entire context of it. Of like, I didn't do as much work today as I wanted to. Kind of negative, you know, but very bland, sorry. You know, but if I go, I didn't do as much work today as I wanted to, but I can do better tomorrow, it takes that whole voice that's with it, that negative connotation of just that first phrase, and changes it of, I'm accepting that I didn't do as much as I wanted to, you know, responsibility and shortcomings, but I'm also saying and acknowledging that I'm not giving up. I'm going to continue on. I'm going to keep going forward. So, like I said, you know, yesterday, huge event for me, spinning around the drain, circling the drain, ruminating. Still some residual today, residual of don't know what. And, you know, and this is that control piece, right? Letting go of the things that you don't have control of. I don't know why I felt this way. I don't know what it is. But not sitting on it, not ruminating, and just letting it go. I acknowledge that there's something. Is it bothersome? To an extent, but it's a process and learning, right? So this is my huge learning factor, my learning curve of need to let go. Having that mindfulness, walking that piece of being able to put these things into place and stop getting stuck. And it's okay if you have stumbling blocks or days where you stumble and you don't do as well as you want to. That's okay. That's expected. be aware of that. That will happen. It's going to happen. And just keep moving forward. Keep striving forward. As one of my old company commanders used to say, I don't know if he even knows this channel exists, but Perry Wiseman, I'm finally really trying to live that best life that you used to always tell everybody to do. Live your best life. And you always have try to, and then just move on for your mission accomplishment. But now it's like it's really finally has just got through all the concrete up here and all the rocks. And for my family, for me, definitely for my family, because they are an extension of me. But to live that best life, that's the end result there. To have that nice forward momentum, forward movement of healing and processing and just being in the moment. That's the biggest thing about mindfulness. Mindfulness will give you that standoff distance you need to from your immediate reactions. And I was always an immediate, quick reactions guy. This is it, right here, boom. But now actually being mindful and being aware and hearing the crickets outside right now, it's like, it's amazing. It's definitely a good place to be moving towards. So till the next episode, not sure what it's going to be yet. Kind of going through this together. If you're on this journey with me, hang in there, subscribe, like, strive, keep striving, keep doing your best. I believe in you. I do. Whoever's out there watching this, you can do it. I know you can, especially because I can. I know. And it's scary. Life's scary. But you gotta live it. Alright? See you next time.